my friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica, and in today's video I am bringing you part 3 of a collab that I've been doing with Peanut Butter Beauty, also known as Charlie. I'll link her channel in my description box. We have been talking about the 70s, 80s, and 90s in part 1 and part 2, and like I said, today is part 3, and I'm super excited. Tons of our subscribers were like, hey, keep these going. So we're like, okay, we're going to keep them going. It took us a while to get this planned because we're both really busy behind the scenes, but here we are. Now, if you've not yet gone to subscribe to Charlie's channel, I highly recommend you do so. She is beautiful, she's talented, she's fun, she has excellent taste in makeup, and she's a very good friend of mine. So we talked about what shadows we could pull in for this part, and we both love Devinah Cosmetics. And I have several single shimmers from Devinah, and a lot of them I still have not used. So I'm going to be pulling in a shadow from Devinah that I haven't used yet. And this shade is called Half Sea Fog, and it's gorgeous. It's like green and purpley and pink shifty, which you can't really see because there's lights and they're bright and it bounces off. And anyway, and then I'm also going to be using some mattes from my In Mel's Memory bundle from Sydney Grace that my dear sister friend Michelle sent to me. This is going to be a more monochromatic look. I'm going to be using this shade. It's called Honeydew, and it broke, unfortunately. I dropped the Z palette that the shadows are in. I didn't mean to do that, but they just kind of fell out of my hands on the ground, and this broke just a little bit. And then I'm also going to be using this shade here called Turtle Bay. And hopefully I can talk better. We'll see. So I do have my brows done in the clear brow gel, NYX Control Freak, like I always do. And then I have this eyelid primed in the Juvia's Place Prep Prime eyeshadow primer. And like I said, we're just going to be chatting about the 70s, 80s, and 90s, mostly the 80s for me anyway. And we're going to be talking about, just loading my brush up with the Honeydew shade. We're going to be talking about TV shows, music, movies, that sort of thing. Toys too. So I'm going to start off by talking about the various TV shows that I loved in the 80s. Okay, loved. Who's the Boss was one of my favorite TV shows in the 80s. And actually my husband and I just watched the entire series, right? Yeah, all the seasons on, what was it, on Amazon Prime, I think? We were just out of our minds. They used to just have like the first 2 seasons on Amazon, so we'd watch those, and then I don't know, my husband just happened to be clicking through one night and he's like, oh my gosh, they have all the seasons on here. So we watched the whole show. So good. And it's, I don't know, you guys are probably not going to watch Who's the Boss if you didn't when you back then, but the ending sucked because you really want Angela and Tony to get together. And, well, they do kind of get together, but then they live in separate places. I don't know. It's just dumb. I was like, whatever. And I used to love Alyssa Milano. I wanted to be Alyssa Milano, and my middle name is Alyssa, so I thought I was super cool, like we were kindred souls. No, we were not. Golden Girls, of course. I still love Golden Girls. I own all the seasons on DVD. Family Ties, Growing Pains. I wrote a few down. Cheers. Dallas, I love the show Dallas, and Dynasty, and Fantasy Island, Love Boat. I mean, such great shows. Oh my gosh. Moonlighting, that was another one of my favorite shows that had Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd, and I loved their chemistry, even though I found out later that they like hated each other and they did not get along at all while the show was filming, which, you know, it led to good chemistry on camera, so who cares, right? Let's see, what other shows did I write down? Cagney and Lacey. That was with Tyne Daly and Sharon Gless, and they were female detectives. Such a great show. Loved it. Facts of Life. Charles in Charge. Huge fan of Scott Baio. Loved him. Hill Street Blues was another show that I just loved. Oh my gosh. And I loved like the theme songs to a lot of these shows too. Like I can still sing them, hum them. You know, I can. It's wonderful. Another show that I loved was Miami Vice. Oh, Crockett and Tubbs. I absolutely loved Miami Vice. The style, you know, like the clothing that everyone wore back in those shows too, especially Miami Vice. That was like a whole trend, the Miami Vice trend. Okay, I think I'm done with that shade for now. I'll probably use a little bit more in a little while, but now I'm going to go into Turtle Bay and deepen up the outer V into my crease with that. Silver Spoons was another show in the 80s that I loved. I had a huge crush on Ricky Schroeder, and a really close friend of mine in high school, she was their nanny. She was Ricky Schroeder and his wife's nanny and lived with them for years, like right after high school. It was crazy. Couldn't believe that. And she still sees him and his family like on holidays and stuff. She and her husband and her 2 kids actually spent a couple Christmases with Ricky and his wife and family. So they still have stayed like really close, even though obviously she's not their nanny anymore, because his kids are adults now, I think. Pretty sure, at least in their 20s, they don't need a nanny anymore. That's for sure. Let's see, did I write anything else down? Cheers was another show I loved. Three's Company. So here's the thing about Three's Company. My mom wouldn't let me watch it because she felt like it was way too sexist. So she wouldn't let me watch Three's Company. But when I was at friends' houses, of course, I would watch Three's Company. And it was very sexist. It was very, very sexist. Absolutely it was. My mom was absolutely right. But it was kind of a just dorky, but kind of funny show too, you know, but kind of not funny. I don't know. It wasn't one of my faves. But yeah, my husband and I were talking about that the other night, and he's like, you couldn't watch it? I said, no, my mom will not let me watch it. She felt it was too sexist. Go mom. I've kind of touched on toys from the 80s and other parts of this, but I want to touch on them again because I swear the 80s had the best toys. I mean, now you have so much like video game type stuff, and kids are always on their phone or a tablet or an iPad. But when back in the 80s, like we had actual toys you could play with. I mean, kids still have toys, but you know what I mean? Most kids are pretty hooked into their phones or whatever. So I had Cabbage Patch dolls that I absolutely loved. Barbies, huge Barbie fanatic. I'm just going to build this shade up a little bit more. These are pretty buildable shadows, and I just love them. I just want to get this a little bit more saturated with that darker green. Let's see. Monchi Cheese I loved. My Little Pony. I had like Hot Wheels cars and Hello Kitty. Loved Hello Kitty. And I also, you know, collected stickers, which I've talked about that before too. The scratch and sniff stickers and the Garbage Pail Kids. Love those stickers. And like we'd trade them at school, and I had like sticker albums galore. I mean, that was really fun to do back then and really common and very popular. Isn't it funny? Just the shift in things as time goes on. I love that. I'm going to go back around, of course, with the honeydew shade, the lighter green shade. Let's see, Care Bears, fashion plates, which I've talked about before. Simon, that game, Simon, it was like this round, like Simon Says, basically, it was this round disc, and it had 4 different colored buttons that you would push, and like they would go ding, ding, ding in a certain pattern. You'd have to, like, I don't know how to word it, like redo the pattern. Like it would go red, yellow, blue, and you'd hit red, yellow, blue, and then it would go yellow, blue, green, red, and then you'd have to go yellow, blue, green, red, and then it would get faster as it would go, and you'd have to like do what it said, you know, Simon Says. And if you messed up, then wah wah, you'd have to start over again. I love that game. I had Tinker Toys. I had Spirograph. Do you guys remember Spirographs? Oh my God, those were so cool. Those plastic discs that had the little holes, and then you'd pin down like the guide disc with these pins into this, like, I don't know, styrofoamy type stuff. But you'd lay a piece of paper down, and you'd take a pin, and you'd just go around and around and around with the pin in the circle of the, it's hard to describe. I'll see if I can link a Spirograph set, or maybe I'll pop a picture up of a Spirograph set up here right now. But oh man, I used to have Spirograph pictures all over my walls. Like I'd make these elaborate designs, and I'd cut them out and tape them to my wall. I thought it was so cool. So cool. Let's see, Polly Pockets were super huge. Although I really wasn't into Polly Pockets, the little girls I babysat were really into Polly Pockets. I mean, I thought they were fun, but I don't know. I think I was just a little too old by the time those came out, maybe. I don't know. Loved the mattes, but now I'm going to go into the shimmer. Half Sea Fog. Cannot wait. Oh, I also had a Gizmo doll. The movie Gremlins came out, and they had these plush Gizmo dolls that they, like stuffed animal type things. And I had one of those, and I loved it. And I had a Strawberry Shortcake doll. that when you squeezed her tummy, she would blow out a strawberry kiss. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Oh, as I knew it would be. It's this beautiful, like, sage green with this really pretty purple and pink flip to it. God, that's lovely. Devinah makes such gorgeous eyeshadows, you guys. Gorgeous, I'm telling you. Mr. Potato Head was huge. Glowworms, I had a glowworm. Viewmasters, those were really fun too. Love those. Oh my gosh, love Viewmasters. I had a ton of those little discs that you would put in. And then also, the woman that babysat me had this awesome Viewmaster too. Hers was bigger than mine. Waterfalls, do you remember those? They were like these, they were like, I don't know. They were shaped like this, and they were full of water, and there were like these little pegs that were sticking to the back of the rectangle square thing, and there was these buttons, and you'd push the buttons and they'd go whoo, these like little rings would toss up, and then you'd try to get them on the little hooks. I know this is making no sense. I'm horrible about describing things, but I love that game until it leaked all over my carpet. That wasn't very fun. And then also, like, Fisher-Price had the funnest dolls, like these little, what were they, dolls? Like toys, these little plastic little men and women and children, and like I had like a boat and a motorhome and camping set. It was just so fun. Oh man, I'd play outside with those all the time. I also had like the Star Wars figurines. Those were really cool, like the Luke Skywalker and all that stuff, because that was really popular back then too, was Luke Skywalker, the Star Wars, the whole thing, you know, because it came out in what, 80, right? Isn't that when Star Wars was released? Could be wrong. I love this, but I am going to go back with the darker green Turtle Bay, this one here, and just kind of straighten up the outer edge here. Let's see, what else did I write down? Is that it? I think so. And then food. School lunches were really cool back when I was in the 80s. Like, you were cool if you had school lunches. The pizza was really good, but they made this concoction that was so disgusting called wiener boats. It was like these big hot dogs that were sitting on mashed potatoes with this cheese sauce poured over the top of it. Oh my God, that was so disgusting. I would never eat those, ever. Ugh. But the pizza was really good. The fried chicken was super good. Oh, love the fried chicken. They made this apple cake that was really yummy, at least in my cafeteria at school. Such good apple cake. Oh, loved it. And sugar cookies were really good too from the school lunches. Absolutely. And I ate a lot of TV dinners growing up. I mean, my mom cooked and stuff, but like TV dinners were really cool because you could, you know, get your TV dinner already with a little brownie in there, which was so good, or the apple, like apple crisp, I guess it was kind of, or apple cake, I don't know. And then fried chicken and corn and mashed potatoes, you know, and we'd sit with our TV trays and we'd watch TV. We'd watch The Incredible Hulk, which was another show that I absolutely loved. And I would run and hide behind the couch when he would turn into the Hulk because I believed that he was real. But I loved him at the same time. Very strange dichotomous relationship that I had with the Hulk. Let's see what other, Sloppy Joes. I thought were so gross. I was not a fan of Sloppy Joes. My stepdaughter loves Sloppy Joes, even now, but I don't. Smurf cereal. I ate Smurf cereal until I puked and couldn't eat it anymore. Jello pudding pops were huge. Fruit roll-ups. Gobstoppers, those candies that you could suck on. They were like jawbreakers, but they change colors as you would continue to suck on them. They were so good. Handy snacks, where they had the cheese in one end and then the crackers in the other with that red plastic spatula. Those were amazing. Capri Suns came out in the 80s. Fire sticks. Do you guys remember the cinnamon fire stick candies? There were apple sticks, and what else? Was it just fire and apple? Although I swear they had other flavors, but maybe I'm wrong. Those are now known as, they're just Jolly Ranchers, but they used to be in like flat stick form. God, those were so yummy. It's a miracle I still have teeth because they were not easy to eat and I'd always have to chew on them. Microwave popcorn came out in the 80s and that was huge, okay? Huge. I remember getting a microwave when I was probably in, I think our first microwave, I was like in the 3rd grade, right? 3rd or 4th. Microwave popcorn revolutionized our snack time, okay? And then they had like flavored microwave popcorn too eventually. Caramel corn and cheese, and I think there was like sour cream and onion. All this weird stuff. Kettle corn I love. I still eat. I haven't, I mean, I still eat kettle corn, but I haven't, I get it out of a bag. I haven't made microwave popcorn in years. I need to do that soon because I loved microwave popcorn. So good. Why don't I make that anymore? I don't know. I guess because my kids don't live here maybe. I don't know, but I would eat it too. Anyway, that was amazing. But I forgot one time that you can't put anything with metal on it in the microwave. And I'd made chocolate milk in this glass that had like a metal ring around the top of it. And I thought, ooh, you know what would be fun is if I could make hot chocolate out of this. So I put it in the microwave and reached in to grab it, and it like blew up. The minute I put my hands on it, it just like blew up. It's a miracle that the whole microwave didn't explode. And like the metal part of it stuck to my skin and just burnt the crap out of my fingers. Never did that again, that's for sure. But the glass broke too. Like the bottom of it fell out. I don't know, it was the weirdest thing when that happened. I'm trying to think of anything else I love to eat in the 80s or 80s type food. My mom used to make a dish called goulash in the 80s. It was like elbow macaroni. It was like spaghetti, but with elbow macaroni is what I remember it being. Fondue was huge in the 80s, 70s, into the 80s. The fondue pots, the cheese and the chocolate fondue, mostly cheese. But yeah, I don't know, man, I just miss the 80s so much. It was such a great time. And I would love to know what your guys' memories are of toys, TV shows, and food. We have to talk about that in the comment section. Super fun. This is really fun to go down memory lane again. I love how this look turned out. I love the shadow from Devinah. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm gonna go off camera, do my other eye, put the rest of my face on, and I'll come back. So this, of course, is my finished look, and I absolutely love it. I knew I was gonna love the eyeshadows, but because it was my first time using the Devinah single, I really loved it. So I'll show you the eyeshadows again, but let me show you just a few things I threw on my face for my finished look. Also, I was gonna dry my hair, and my hair dryer like blew up. It won't turn on. I've had it for years, so went to hair dryer heaven today. Okay, so for my upper lid liner, I used the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Waterproof Felt Tip Liner in black, like always. For my mascara, I'm still using the Maybelline New York Sky High. I love this so much. On my lips, I just wanted something a little mellow for whatever reason, so I grabbed my Dose of Colors lip gloss. I think it says it's a liquid lipstick, but it feels like a gloss. So I call it a gloss in the shade Almond Butter. I love this. It's so wonderful. For my blush, I'm using the Blame It on the Blush from Made by Mitchell. And I use the shade right here called Peachy Friday because I really do like to put peach tones with green eyeshadows. And then after I got this on, I was like, yeah, but there's lavender and pink shifty stuff on your eyeshadows. So maybe a pink or a lavender blush would have looked better, but I don't care. That's what I did. Okay, so now let's talk about the eyeshadows. First of all, I used this shade called Green Mist. This is also from the In Mel's Memory Bundle from Sydney Grace, one of the shimmers. And I put this in my inner corners. This is so gorgeous. This beautiful light green beauty, just stunning. It's so beautiful. I love having this bundle in my collection. Michelle, I cannot thank you enough for giving me this beautiful bundle of eyeshadows. So now let's talk about the mattes. Turtle Bay and Honeydew. Honeydew, Turtle Bay. Gorgeous. Put both of these on my lower lash lines too. Just really lovely pigmentation. They both blend beautifully. They both work together really well. Just very classy and just very nice quality eyeshadows from Sydney Grace. Just beautiful. I'm really happy that Tara, my dear friend, turned me on to Sydney Grace through their sale a while back. You know, just such a great brand, really classy brand, really nice. And then this shimmer shade, Half Sea Fog from Devinah, so beautiful. I love the shift. It's a very opaque, just a lovely formula, gorgeous. And I don't have the shift in my collection. You know, I mean, some multi-chromes, the shifts are a little bit more common than others. And this is the only one I have that's got the green to pink to purple, I think. I can't think of any other shade I have that's quite like this. So beautiful, so happy I used it today. Thrilled that Charlie is also a Devinah lover so that we could do this together for another collab. Couple things I wanted to mention and I didn't even write them down, which I don't know why, but I was thinking about this yesterday before I, was kind of getting my thoughts together to film. The show Brady Bunch. I can't believe I didn't mention that. I loved Brady Bunch. Scooby-Doo and Brady Bunch were the two shows I watched after school every day, basically. I think Brady Bunch was done making new episodes by the 80s, but the reruns were always playing. Gilligan's Island is another show that I love to watch. Little House on the Prairie. My husband and I just actually watched that whole series too not long ago. We've thought about doing it again. We love it. I'm trying to think of anything else. Cosby Show I loved, although Bill Cosby. And then A Different World, so awesome. Fresh Prince. Gosh, I'm trying to think of what, we could make multiple parts of this series because there's just so much from the 70s, 80s, and 90s that I love and that still means so much to me, So thrilled that Charlie was willing to do a part 3 with me. Please go and check out her channel if you have not yet already. Like I said, I'll link her channel in my description box. Go subscribe, watch her content, show her a ton of love and support. She's a really awesome creator and very special to me. And who knows? You never know, we might do a part 4. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and of course, comment down below in the comment section. I love to chat with you guys there. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. But in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself. Be well, safe, happy, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Drop it.